Hey friends, welcome back to TalkMate English. Today we're going to learn some really useful phrasal verbs that you can use to talk about your daily routine in natural fluent English. These are expressions that native speakers use all the time without even thinking about them. And once you start using them, your English will sound smoother, more natural, and more confident. So, let's walk through your whole day together, from the moment you wake up until you go to bed, and practice these phrasal verbs in context. When you open your eyes in the morning, the first thing you probably do is wake up. Not wake, but wake up. It means to stop sleeping. For example, I wake up at 7 every morning. Sometimes, though, you don't get out of bed right away. You might just lie in for a few minutes, especially if it's a weekend or if you're feeling lazy. I like to lie in on Sundays. After that, you usually get up. That means you sit up and leave your bed. I get up at 7:30. Notice that wake up and get up are different. Wake up means your eyes open, and get up means you physically leave your bed. Practice saying this. I wake up at 7, but I get up at 7:30. Now, after you get up, what's next? Maybe you freshen up. That means you wash your face, brush your teeth, and make yourself look and feel clean. I freshen up in the bathroom before breakfast. Some people also say wash up, which means to clean yourself, usually your face and hands. Then, you probably put on your clothes. Put on is another common phrasal verb that means to dress yourself. I put on my shirt and jeans before leaving for work. Later in the day, when you return home, you can say I take off my shoes and change into something comfortable. So we have put on and take off. Two opposite phrasal verbs that describe getting dressed and undressed. Before leaving your home, you might pack up your things or get ready for the day. I pack up my bag, grab my keys, and head out the door. Head out means to leave a place or start going somewhere. I head out for work around 8 o'clock. Practice this one. I head out for work at 8 every morning after I pack up my things. Once you leave home, you might set off for work or school. Set off means to begin your journey. I set off early to avoid traffic. Sometimes things don't go as planned. Maybe your bus breaks down. That means it stops working. Or maybe you run into a friend on your way, which means you meet them by chance. I ran into my old teacher on my way to work. When you reach your workplace or school, you show up. That means you arrive. I show up at the office around 9. Then you log into your computer, check out your emails, and catch up on some messages. Catch up on means to read or do something you haven't done for a while, like catching up on emails or catching up on your favorite show. Now, let's practice together. Repeat after me slowly. I wake up at 7. I get up at 7:30. I freshen up and put on my clothes. I pack up my things and head out for work. I set off early to avoid traffic. I show up at the office at 9. And I catch up on my emails. Take a short pause and say it again, imagining your morning routine as you speak. Visualization helps your brain connect English words with real experiences. As the day goes on, maybe you get down to work. That means you start working seriously. After my coffee, I get down to work. You might need to deal with some problems, sort out some files, or hand in a report. Deal with means to handle a situation. Sort out means to organize or fix something. And hand in means to submit something like homework or a report. Sometimes you may need to take a break or slow down for a while to relax your mind. Then, after finishing a task, you wrap up your work, meaning you complete it. I usually wrap up my morning tasks before lunch. Practice with me. I get down to work after my coffee. I deal with important emails. I sort out my schedule. I hand in my report. And I wrap up my tasks before lunch. At lunchtime, you might go out with colleagues or grab something to eat. Go out means to leave a place to do something enjoyable, and grab means to take something quickly. Like I grab a sandwich for lunch. After lunch, you come back to your office and carry on working. Carry on means to continue. After lunch, I come back to the office and carry on with my work. In the afternoon, maybe you feel sleepy, so you perk up by having another cup of coffee. Perk up means to become more energetic or alert. I perk up after my second coffee. Then you check in with your team, talk over ideas, and figure out solutions to problems. Talk over means to discuss, and figure out means to understand or solve something. When the day ends, you pack up again, log off your computer, and head back home. Head back means to return. I log off my computer at 6 and head back home. On your way home, you might stop by a store to buy something. Stop by means to visit a place briefly. I stop by the grocery store before going home. Once you're home, you kick off your shoes and chill out for a while. Kick off means to remove your shoes quickly, and chill out means to relax. After a long day, I just want to chill out on the sofa. Practice saying this with me. I head back home after work. I stop by the store, I kick off my shoes, and I chill out on the sofa. In the evening, you might hang out with your family or friends, or catch up on your favorite show. You can also say, call up your parents, which means to phone them. I call up my mom every evening to check on her. Then, maybe you wash up, take off your clothes, and get ready for bed. Before going to sleep, you might wind down. That means to relax and prepare your body and mind for rest. I like to wind down by reading a book before bed. Finally, you turn in or doze off. Turn in means to go to bed, and doze off means to fall asleep slowly. I usually turn in around 11, but sometimes I doze off while watching TV. Now, let's do a full practice round for your entire daily routine. Try to speak slowly and imagine each action as you say it. I wake up at 7. I get up and freshen up. I put on my clothes and pack up my things. I head out for work and set off early. I show up at the office and get down to work. I deal with emails and hand in reports. I go out for lunch, come back, and carry on with work. I log off at 6, head back home, stop by the store, and chill out on the sofa. I hang out with my family, wind down, and turn in around 11. That's a natural flow of your daily life using phrasal verbs. Now, let's deepen your practice a little more. Imagine you're describing your day to a friend. Repeat after me with small pauses. Today, I woke up late, so I had to get up quickly. I freshened up and put on my clothes fast. I packed up my things and headed out the door. I set off for work but ran into traffic. When I finally showed up at the office, I logged in and caught up on emails. After lunch, I carried on with meetings, but I was so tired that I needed to perk up with another coffee. At 6, I wrapped up my work, logged off, and headed back home. I stopped by the store to pick up dinner, then chilled out on the sofa. I called up my mom, hung out with my brother, and finally wound down before turning in. Notice how phrasal verbs make your story sound much more real and alive. Without them, it would sound robotic and less fluent. Let's try another short shadowing practice. Listen and repeat naturally after me, imagining each scene. I woke up, got up, brushed my teeth, put on my clothes, packed up my bag, headed out, caught the bus, showed up at work, got down to business, dealt with tasks, wrapped up my reports, went out for lunch, came back, carried on with meetings, logged off, headed home, stopped by the store, chilled out at home, hung out with friends, wound down, turned in for the night. That's how you can describe your entire day using natural English phrasal verbs. You can use the same verbs in different tenses, too. For example, I got up, I'm getting up, or I'll get up early tomorrow. Try practicing these in different forms to make them part of your natural speech. Now let's explore more phrasal verbs that describe other small but important parts of your daily life. For example, when you're getting ready in the morning, you might turn on the light, switch off the alarm, or look for your keys. Turn on means to start something that uses electricity, switch off means to stop it, and look for means to try to find something. You could say, I turn on the light, switch off my alarm, and look for my keys before leaving home. Sometimes you can't find something, and you finally come across it. Come across means to find something by chance. I came across my old watch while cleaning my room. This phrasal verb can also describe finding a person or idea unexpectedly. Practice this. I came across a great English podcast yesterday, and I'm going to listen to it every morning. When you start your morning commute, maybe you hop on a bus or get in the car. Hop on means to quickly get on public transport like a bus, train, or bike. Get in means to enter a smaller vehicle, like a car or taxi. And when you reach your destination, you get off the bus or get out of the car. Hop on, get off, get in, get out. These are everyday phrasal verbs you'll hear constantly. Now let's imagine a quick mini practice scene together. Repeat slowly after me, imagining you're living this routine. I wake up and switch off my alarm. I turn on the light. I look for my phone and come across my charger. I put on my clothes, grab my bag, and head out. I hop on the bus, get off at my stop, and walk into work. These small phrases connect your actions smoothly, helping you sound like a natural English speaker. Once you're at work or school, there are even more phrasal verbs you can use throughout the day. You might fill out a form or write down notes from a meeting. Fill out means to complete a document, and write down means to make a note of something so you remember it later. You may also look after a project or deal with clients. Both mean to take care of or manage responsibilities. And sometimes things get a little stressful, right? You might need to calm down, slow down, or even take over someone's work if they're away. Take over means to assume control of something, like I had to take over the meeting because my boss was out today. Let's take another little practice pause. Repeat with me naturally. I fill out the forms carefully. I write down the details. I look after my projects and deal with clients. Sometimes I take over tasks from my teammates, and I slow down when I feel tired. It's important to practice these out loud. When you speak them, you start building natural fluency patterns in your mind and mouth. After you finish work, Maybe you head out with coworkers for dinner, or meet up with friends. Meet up means to get together socially. I meet up with my best friend every Friday night. You might also catch up with them, meaning you talk about what's new in each other's lives. We met up for coffee and caught up on old times. Then, when you return home, you might heat up your dinner if you didn't eat earlier. Heat up means to make food warm again. After eating, maybe you wash up the dishes, tidy up your room, or put away your clothes. These small daily actions use phrasal verbs too. Wash up, tidy up, put away. They're simple but powerful for natural daily speech. Try this small evening practice sequence with me. I head out after work and meet up with friends. We catch up on life and talk for hours. When I get home, I heat up my dinner, wash up the dishes, and tidy up my room before bed. Notice how these sentences flow like a real story, not a list of actions. That's the magic of using phrasal verbs in your daily English. Now let's add a few more phrasal verbs that help you describe preparation, decision-making, and energy changes during the day. You might make up your mind when deciding something. That means to decide firmly. I finally made up my mind to start exercising every morning. You can also come up with ideas, come up with means to think of something new. I came up with a plan for the new project. Sometimes you might put off a task. That means to delay or postpone it. I keep putting off cleaning my closet. Or you might pick up a new skill. Pick up means to learn naturally through experience. I picked up a lot of new English phrases from watching movies. Let's practice together again, using these natural sentences. I made up my mind to wake up early tomorrow. I came up with a plan for my morning routine. I won't put off my work anymore, and I'll try to pick up new phrases every day. You can see how these phrasal verbs are small but full of meaning. They make your speech more human, more natural, and less like a textbook. Now think about your weekends. On weekends, maybe you sleep in. That means you stay in bed longer than usual. I love to sleep in on Saturdays. You might catch up on rest or hang out with friends. Catch up on sleep means to recover from tiredness, and hang out means to relax or spend time casually. During the afternoon, you might work out. That means to exercise. Or you might chill out at home watching something relaxing. If you go out, you might dress up for a party. Dress up means to wear nice or formal clothes, or drop by a friend's house. Drop by means to visit briefly. Now let's link them all in one natural practice round. On weekends, I sleep in late and catch up on rest. I hang out with friends, sometimes work out in the park, and chill out at home in the evening. If I have an event, I dress up nicely and drop by my friend's house before we go together. Keep repeating that slowly, imagining each situation. The power of language comes from visualization and repetition. When your weekend comes to an end, you get ready for the new week ahead. Maybe you plan out your schedule. Plan out means to organize in detail. You set up your workspace. Set up means to arrange or prepare. And you look forward to the days ahead. Look forward to means to feel excited about something that will happen. You can say, I plan out my week on Sunday evenings. I set up my desk for Monday morning, and I look forward to a productive week ahead. These are daily English rhythms, phrases you can use every day in conversations, diaries, or even self-talk practice. Now, let's add one more type of exercise, shadowing and transformation practice. I'll say a simple action, and then we'll transform it using a phrasal verb. Ready? Instead of I leave home, say I head out. Instead of I return home, say I head back. Instead of I start working, say I get down to work. Instead of I relax, say I chill out. Instead of I visit my friend, say I drop by my friend's place. Instead of I meet my friend, say I meet up with my friend. Instead of I sleep, say I turn in. Instead of I continue, say I carry on. Instead of I find something accidentally, say I come across it. Instead of I delay something, say I put it off. Now practice them in full sentences with pauses. I head out for work early every morning. I get down to work as soon as I arrive. I carry on until lunch. I chill out during my break. I head back home in the evening and drop by a store. I meet up with a friend and then turn in early. Each sentence tells part of your life story using phrasal verbs that sound real, emotional, and natural. After a full day of activities, it's normal to feel both tired and satisfied. You may want to slow down and wind down. Both mean to relax your body and mind after being busy all day. You can say, I like to slow down after dinner and wind down with some music. Sometimes you might think back to the things you did. Think back means to remember or recall past events. You could say, I thought back to my morning and realized how productive I was. When the day is ending, you may want to turn off distractions, put away your phone, and get into bed early. Get into bed means to lie down in bed to sleep. And when you finally fall asleep, you can say, I drifted off. Drift off means to fall asleep slowly and peacefully. Now, let's practice these phrasal verbs together. Repeat slowly after me. I slow down after dinner. I wind down by listening to soft music. I think back to what I did today. I turn off my phone, put it away, get into bed, and drift off peacefully. Try saying that again naturally, feeling the rhythm of real English. In your free time, you may also want to describe small daily habits with more phrasal verbs. Maybe you like to read up on new topics. That means to study or learn more about something. I'm reading up on healthy eating habits these days. Or maybe you like to write down your thoughts in a journal. I write down my goals every night before bed. Sometimes you might look back on your week and reflect on what went well. I look back on my week and felt proud of my progress. Let's do a soft reflection practice together. I read up on things that interest me. I write down my thoughts at night. I look back on my week to see how far I've come. Phrasal verbs like read up on, write down, and look back on make your English sound real, emotional, and intelligent. They show connection between your actions and your feelings. When you want to describe social situations, you can use many interesting phrasal verbs too. For example, when you meet someone, you get along with them. Get along with means to have a good relationship. I get along with my coworkers really well. You can also say you look out for someone. That means to take care of them or make sure they're okay. I always look out for my younger brother. Sometimes you may fall out with someone. Fall out with means to argue or stop being friendly for a while. I fell out with my friend last week, but we made up. Made up means to forgive each other and become friends again. Let's practice that rhythm together. I get along with my colleagues. I look out for my friends. Sometimes we fall out, but we always make up. Repeat that slowly until it feels natural. These are real expressions used by native speakers every single day. When you're learning English, you might also come up against challenges. That means to face difficulties. I came up against a few problems when I tried to speak fluently, but the best thing you can do is keep at it. That means to continue trying and not give up. I came up against many difficulties, but I kept at it until I improved. Let's turn that into a motivation moment. Even when I come up against challenges, I keep at it. I carry on practicing every day. I pick up new words and use them in real life. These phrases give you strength when learning English. They remind you that persistence builds fluency. Sometimes during your day, you might need to cheer up. That means to become happier after feeling sad. I cheer up when I listen to my favorite song. You can also say, lighten up. It means to relax or stop worrying so much. I try to lighten up after a stressful day at work. Now repeat softly with me. I cheer up by talking to a friend. I lighten up when I listen to music. I wind down before bed and drift off peacefully. Notice how the rhythm feels natural and emotional. That's what makes your spoken English sound truly alive. Now let's imagine a longer scene together, connecting your entire day using phrasal verbs naturally, like a flowing story. I wake up early and switch off my alarm. I freshen up and put on my clothes. I head out the door and hop on the bus. I get down to work, deal with tasks, and carry on until lunch. After lunch, I perk up with a coffee and talk over new ideas with my team. In the evening, I head back home, stop by a store, and chill out on the sofa. I hang out with my family, look back on my day, and wind down before turning in for the night. Try shadowing that story slowly, imagining the movements, the moments, the sounds. This kind of practice builds deep speaking fluency. It helps your brain think directly in English instead of translating word by word. Now let's add a few advanced phrasal verbs that can describe emotions and self-improvement during your daily life. You might look up to someone. That means to admire or respect them. I look up to my teacher for his patience. You might also rely on someone. Rely on means to depend on them for support or help. I rely on my best friend whenever I feel down. Sometimes you might get over a difficult situation. Get over means to recover emotionally. It took me a while to get over my fear of speaking English in public. And when you improve, you can say you grow out of bad habits. Grow out of means to stop doing something as you become more mature. I grew out of staying up too late after I started my new job. Let's put these into a soft reflection practice together. I look up to people who work hard. I rely on my friends for motivation. I got over my fear of making mistakes. And I grew out of my bad study habits. Repeat them again, gently, with natural pauses, because these words describe not only your day, but your personal growth too. When you want to stay organized and manage your day effectively, phrasal verbs can help describe every action. You can say, I jot down notes during meetings. Jot down means to write quickly. I cross out mistakes in my notebook. Cross out means to draw a line through something incorrect. I go over my plans before bed. Go over means to review carefully. And I figure out my priorities every morning. Figure out means to understand or solve something. Let's practice that flow. I jot down ideas throughout the day. I cross out what's not needed. I go over my list before sleeping. And I figure out how to make tomorrow better. This kind of daily English rhythm can be used in journaling, voice notes, or even simple self-talk in English. Phrasal verbs help you not only describe actions, but also connect feelings and situations together. They turn your daily routine into a story, something meaningful and human. When you wake up tomorrow morning, try to describe your day aloud using these verbs. Say, I woke up, got up, put on my clothes, headed out, caught the bus, got down to work, dealt with tasks, wrapped up, headed back, chilled out, and turned in. You'll notice how natural it sounds and how confident it makes you feel. Keep going with me. Let's expand into even deeper, more emotional phrasal verbs, the kind that connect your daily actions with thoughts and growth. Let's keep going, friends, and dive even deeper into how you can use phrasal verbs naturally throughout your daily thoughts, emotions, and interactions. Because learning English isn't just about memorizing words. It's about living the language, using it to describe real life, your moods, and your moments. When you wake up, you might sometimes feel like staying in bed, feel like means to have the desire or mood to do something. I don't feel like getting up early on weekends. Or maybe you look forward to your breakfast. That means you're excited for it. I look forward to my morning coffee every day. You might even think over what you have to do for the day. Think over means to consider carefully. I like to think over my schedule while I eat breakfast. Try practicing these soft sentences with me. I don't feel like rushing in the morning. I look forward to my coffee. I think over my day and prepare my mind for what's ahead. These small moments are what make your daily English come alive. They're the real language of everyday life. Sometimes things don't go perfectly. You might run out of milk. Run out of means to have no more left. I ran out of milk, so I had tea instead. You might make up for being late. Make up for means to compensate. I was late to work, so I stayed longer to make up for it. You can also come down with a cold. Come down with means to become slightly sick. I think I'm coming down with a cold. I'll rest early tonight. Now repeat gently after me. I ran out of milk this morning. I made up for my mistake later. I think I'm coming down with a cold, so I'll turn in early. You see how the rhythm feels. Calm, natural, and connected to daily life. That's what we aim for in fluent English speech. During the day when you're busy, you might keep up with your tasks. Keep up with means to stay at the same pace or level. It's hard to keep up with all the work sometimes. You might check in on your teammates. Check in on means to see how someone is doing. I checked in on my friend to see if she was okay after her exam. And when you feel tired, you can take off for a short break. Take off in this case means to leave for a short time. I took off early to rest and recharge. Let's practice this natural flow together. I keep up with my tasks carefully. I check in on my friends during the day. And sometimes I take off early to give myself a little break. You can feel how relaxed and real it sounds when spoken slowly and clearly. When you return home in the evening, you might catch up on household chores. Catch up on means to do something you didn't have time for before. I caught up on laundry last night. You can also put away the dishes. Put away means to return something to its proper place. And if you have energy left, you might work on your hobbies. Work on means to improve or practice something over time. I'm working on my guitar, playing every night after dinner. Now say this softly, letting the meaning settle in. I catch up on my chores in the evening. I put away the dishes after dinner. And I work on my English before I sleep. This kind of spoken rhythm is perfect for shadowing practice. It builds your brain's instinct to use phrasal verbs without hesitation. There are also phrasal verbs that describe motivation and focus. When you start a task, you might set out to finish it. Set out means to begin something with a goal. I set out to finish my project this week. If you keep trying hard, you pull through difficult moments. Pull through means to survive or succeed after hardship. I pulled through my busy week thanks to coffee and determination. You can also say carry on to mean continue despite difficulties. I carried on with my studies even when I felt tired. Repeat this practice sequence slowly with me. I set out to finish my tasks. I carried on even when things got hard, and I pulled through with patience and focus. When you say these lines out loud, you're not just learning English, you're building emotional fluency, expressing strength through language. Now let's add some conversational context. Imagine you're telling a friend about your day in a calm, fluent tone. I woke up early and didn't feel like getting up, but I pushed myself to do it anyway. I ran out of coffee, so I made tea instead. I set out to finish my tasks and kept up with my schedule. Around lunch, I checked in on my friend, then carried on with my work. When I got home, I caught up on cleaning, put away the dishes, and worked on my English before winding down. This is how natural spoken English sounds, full of phrasal verbs that describe real life without sounding forced. Sometimes you might feel emotional during the day. You can say break down when someone becomes very upset or emotional. She broke down after hearing the bad news. Or calm down when you relax again. He calmed down after taking a deep breath. You might also open up to someone. Open up means to share your feelings honestly. I opened up to my friend about how I felt. Now practice slowly with me. I broke down after a hard day, but I calmed down later. I opened up to my friend and felt better afterward. These emotional phrasal verbs connect your words with your heart. They make your speech feel real, not mechanical. Sometimes you'll also figure out your emotions. Figure out means to understand clearly. I figured out that I just needed rest. You might also get over sadness. Get over means to recover emotionally. I got over my stress by going for a walk. You can say, I figured out what I needed and I got over my bad day. Let's take a small reflection moment together. Imagine it's the end of the day. You're sitting quietly, maybe drinking something warm, thinking about your day, and speaking softly in English. Try saying this. I think back to my day. I went through a lot, but I pulled through. I dealt with stress, but I calmed down. I looked back and realized how much I've grown. That's real spoken English. Slow, emotional, rhythmic, and alive. Now let's focus on relaxation verbs that help describe your personal time at home. You might kick back. That means to relax and take it easy. I like to kick back and watch something funny after work. Or zone out. Zone out means to stop focusing for a while. I zoned out while scrolling through my phone. You could also lie down. Lie down means to rest your body flat, usually on a bed or sofa. I lay down for a few minutes before dinner. Repeat this gentle sequence with me. I like to kick back after dinner. Sometimes I just zone out for a while. Then I lie down and close my eyes. This rhythm helps your voice flow softly when practicing English shadowing. It feels calm, peaceful, and real. And when you're preparing for bed, maybe you get ready for the next day. I get ready for tomorrow by checking my schedule. You might also lay out your clothes. Layout means to arrange something neatly in advance. I lay out my clothes before sleeping, so I'm ready in the morning. And finally, you turn in. Turn in means to go to sleep. I turn in early when I'm tired. Let's say this full reflection sequence together one last time before we move to more advanced expressions next. I get ready for tomorrow by planning my tasks. I lay out my clothes for the next morning. I lie down, close my eyes, and turn in peacefully. This simple story of daily life, from waking up to turning in, is filled with phrasal verbs that native speakers use every day. And by practicing them in full sentences, you're not just memorizing, you're learning to think and speak fluently, naturally, and emotionally in English. Let's continue, friends. We're getting deeper into how phrasal verbs naturally appear in everyday conversations, not just when describing your routine, but also when connecting with others, sharing opinions, or expressing emotions. These are the kinds of expressions that make you sound fluent and natural without even thinking about grammar. When you're speaking with people during the day, you often bring up topics. Bring up means to start talking about something. I brought up the idea of traveling with my friend during lunch. Sometimes you might need to point out something important. Point out means to highlight or mention clearly. I pointed out that we needed to leave early to avoid traffic. In conversations, you might also come across as confident. Come across as means the impression you give others. He comes across as friendly and polite. You could say, I try to come across as confident when I speak English. It's a beautiful phrasal verb to practice for personality and self-image. Now, repeat this natural mini dialogue softly, imagining you're talking with someone close to you. I brought up my weekend plans. She pointed out that the weather might change. I tried to come across as relaxed and confident while we talked. These phrasal verbs sound like real-life English, the kind you hear in everyday conversations. Sometimes during discussions, you might need to back up your ideas. Back up means to support or prove what you're saying. I backed up my opinion with real examples. Or you may have to cut in politely. Cut in means to interrupt in a respectful way. I'm sorry to cut in, but I'd like to add something. And when a conversation ends, you might wrap up. Wrap up means to finish something neatly. We wrapped up the meeting at 5 p.m. Let's link these in a smooth practice round. I brought up my opinion. I backed it up with examples. I cut in politely when I needed to share my view, and we wrapped up the meeting on time. You can shadow this sequence several times, matching your voice to the flow of natural English conversation. Sometimes, you might not agree with someone, and that's perfectly normal. You could say, I found out that we had different views. Find out means to discover something new. Then, you talk it over. Talk over means to discuss carefully and calmly. We talked it over and understood each other better. Finally, you work things out. Work out in this sense means to resolve a problem or disagreement. We worked things out peacefully in the end. Now let's practice that emotional and social sequence. I found out that we disagreed. We talked it over calmly. and we work things out together. These are everyday, real, emotional English expressions, phrases that describe human connection and understanding. When you're learning English, you'll also come across many new words or ideas. Come across means to encounter by chance. I came across a new phrasal verb video last night, and if something confuses you, you might look into it. Look into means to research or explore deeper. I looked into what it really means, and now I understand. You can also figure out your own study methods. Figure out means to discover a solution that works for you. I figured out that shadowing helps me remember better. Then, when you've learned something, you can share it with others, share with means to tell or explain something to someone else. Try this reflection sequence softly. I came across a new video about phrasal verbs. I looked into how to use them naturally. I figured out a method that works for me, and I shared it with my friend. That's how learning becomes part of your daily life. Slow, natural, and full of progress. There are also phrasal verbs that describe communication and connection with others. You can get through to someone. Get through to means to help someone understand your point of view. It took me a while to get through to my friend about how I felt. Or open up. We learned this earlier. It means to share honestly. I finally opened up about my goals and dreams. You might also check up on someone. Check up on means to see how they're doing. I checked up on my friend who wasn't feeling well. And if something bothers you, you can say, I need to get it off my chest. Get something off your chest means to say what's been worrying you so you feel lighter. I felt so relieved after I got it off my chest. Now, let's practice a gentle emotional flow. I tried to get through to my friend. I opened up about what I was feeling. I checked up on her the next day, and I got it off my chest. I felt peaceful again. These are phrases that connect deeply with real life, with empathy, honesty, and growth. Sometimes, your day might not go as planned. You might run into problems, run into means to face or encounter unexpectedly. I ran into a few issues with my project today, but you can sort them out. Sort out means to organize or fix something. I sorted everything out by the evening. You can also get over stress by resting and move on. Move on means to leave a problem behind and focus on the next step. I got over my frustration and moved on with my day. Now let's put it together. I ran into a few problems, but I sorted them out. I got over my stress and moved on with calm energy. That's how fluent English flows. Emotion, action, and recovery in one sentence rhythm. There are also times you need to deal with unexpected tasks. Deal with means to handle. I had to deal with some last-minute emails today. Or you might catch up on something you missed. Catch up on means to complete or review delayed work. I caught up on my reading before bed. And sometimes you just put off a few things for tomorrow. Put off means to delay. I put off cleaning until the weekend. Try saying this slow practice round with me. I dealt with my emails. I caught up on my reading. And I put off some chores until tomorrow. This flow mirrors the way native speakers talk about everyday life, relaxed and real. Now let's imagine a small evening dialogue for your practice. Adam says, "Hey, how was your day?" You reply, "Pretty busy. I brought up some ideas in a meeting, backed them up with data, and we wrapped up the session early. Later, I ran into traffic but caught up on my favorite podcast. When I got home, I chilled out, looked back on my progress, and figured out how to make tomorrow smoother. This is the kind of conversation you can practice shadowing. It's realistic, natural, and uses dozens of phrasal verbs in context. As your English improves, you'll pick up phrasal verbs naturally, just by listening and repeating. The key is not to memorize, but to feel how they fit into your stories. You'll notice that when you stick with your practice, stick with means to continue doing something, your fluency will grow faster and your confidence will rise. I stuck with daily shadowing, and it changed how I speak. Now softly repeat this motivational sequence with me. I pick up new phrases every day. I stick with my English journey. I keep at it even when it feels slow. I carry on learning until it feels natural. That is the rhythm of real learning, gentle, consistent, human. As you end your day, you can sum up what you learned. Sum up means to summarize or reflect. I like to sum up my day before going to bed. You can also plan ahead. Plan ahead means to prepare for future steps. I plan ahead to make my mornings easier. So tonight, before you go to sleep, try whispering this to yourself. I'm proud of what I did today. I summed up my achievements in my mind. I planned ahead for tomorrow. I turned in with gratitude. That's fluent, emotional, beautiful English. Not just for exams or grammar, but for life itself. Let's wrap this journey up gently, friends. Imagine now that the day is coming to an end, and you're reflecting quietly in English about everything you've done and learned. You're not just repeating words anymore. You're living the language, feeling every phrase as part of your real daily story. Every day you wake up, get up, and set out to make something meaningful. Sometimes you run into problems. Sometimes you figure out solutions. You carry on, keep up with your goals, and deal with what life gives you. Even when things go wrong, you get through them, move on, and look forward to better days. That's what fluency feels like. Not perfection, but progress that you can feel inside your voice. Now, let's practice this calm reflection sequence together. I woke up early today. I set out with good intentions. I ran into challenges, but I figured them out. I carried on and got through my tasks. I moved on from what I couldn't change, and I looked forward to tomorrow. Take a deep breath as you say it. Slow, steady, natural. This is real English rhythm, the way fluent speakers think and speak every day. When evening arrives, you can wind down, sit back, and think over the small victories you had. Maybe you caught up on a lesson, picked up new words, or worked on your confidence. Those tiny efforts add up. Add up means to grow into something bigger over time. Every 5 minutes of practice adds up to real fluency. Sometimes when things feel heavy, you can let go of your stress, let go of means to release it mentally. You can also cheer yourself up. Cheer up means to feel brighter and happier again. You can say, I let go of my worries tonight. I cheered myself up by listening to soft English audio, and I calmed down before bed. You might also want to go over what you learned during the day. Go over means to review or revise. I went over my phrasal verbs one more time before sleeping. You could write down the ones you want to remember and keep up the routine daily. Now let's build your final daily reflection, one that you can use as a mini speaking practice every night. I woke up and got down to work. I dealt with challenges and carried on. I met up with friends and caught up on life. I headed back home, tidied up my space, and chilled out with music. I looked back on my day, learned from my mistakes, and planned ahead for tomorrow. Now I'll wind down, turn off my phone, and turn in with gratitude. When you practice this daily story, your English begins to flow naturally, not as study, but as expression. And that's how you make phrasal verbs part of your life. You use them to tell your story, not just someone else's. You can talk about feelings. Cheer up, calm down, open up, let go of. You can describe work, deal with, carry on, figure out, wrap up. You can describe rest, wind down, lie down, drift off, turn in, and when you combine them in rhythm, your speech sounds real, alive, and effortless. Now, one last long practice. Listen and repeat slowly after me. I wake up every morning and get up with purpose. I freshen up, put on my clothes, and head out into the world. I get down to work, deal with my duties, and carry on through challenges. I take breaks when I need to slow down. I talk things over with friends and work things out peacefully. I meet up with people, hang out, and enjoy the little things. In the evening, I head back home, kick off my shoes, and chill out on the sofa. I wind down, look back on my day, and get ready to turn in peacefully. That's your daily fluency meditation, a way to connect English not just with learning, but with living. If you keep practicing these sentences every day, your mouth will begin to move naturally. Your thoughts will start forming in English, and your confidence will shine. You'll start to pick up new expressions without realizing it. Use up the words you know until they become natural and come across as fluent, confident, and calm in every conversation. And remember, when you feel tired or unsure, don't give up. Just keep at it, stick with it, and carry on. English fluency is not about rushing. It's about showing up every day, speaking, listening, and living through the language. Let's end today's session with one more soft reflection. I showed up for myself today. I practiced, I repeated, I learned. I'm proud of every small step I took. I'll keep going, I'll keep improving, I'll keep speaking. Tomorrow, I'll wake up, get up, and do it all again. That's the mindset of a fluent speaker. Calm, steady, motivated, and patient. So keep practicing, friends. Keep shadowing these phrases. Keep repeating them until they become part of you. Because every time you speak them, you're not just learning English, you're living it. You're shaping your thoughts, your rhythm, your voice. And that's where fluency truly begins. Thank you for spending this time practicing with me today. Keep going, keep speaking, and I'll see you again soon. Until then, stay confident, keep learning, and keep shining through your words.